Even after 7 seasons of competitive Overwatch, one of the most frequently asked questions I get on stream is, how do I get out of my rank? While there is a lot of material out there that can help you ranking up, many seem to struggle with finding out where to start, and that's exactly what this video is for. I'm going to attempt to put a sort of structure into the endeavor that is ranking up in Overwatch. For anything a reference that I have talked about in depth before, I will be linking the respective videos through a card in the top right corner. However, I understand that time is limited, so I will be trying to give you as much of an effective too long didn't watch as possible for every point presented in today's video. Now without further ado, I present my 4-step plan to ranking up in Overwatch. Step number 1. Understand the system you play in. A lot of frustration in the player base comes from a lack of understanding for the system they play in. Now I can't exactly blame them for it because the devs have not told us a whole lot about it, and there is a lot of misinformation floating around for that very reason. It is a subject I have chewed through a few times on my channel already, so I hope I don't bore you too much with it. However, understanding the enemy is the first step you need to take to defeat it. The Overwatch ladder is not built around the idea of rewarding players. Don't see yourself ranking up as a reward you get for being a dedicated player that grinds away for weeks. The only reward you get on ladder are competitive points. The rank you achieve, the amount of SR you get or lose, none of that is tied to any sort of reward or punishment system, not even a progression system. All of that was built with the sole idea of creating matches as close to even in skill as possible. Nothing more and nothing less. So how do you best conquer the ladder? Well, knowing that everything is built around the idea of matching skill against the same level of skill, the goal should be obvious: increasing your own level of skill. As long as you get better at Overwatch, you will be ranking up. If you're not ranking up, that means you stopped getting better. But now to actually get started, step number 2. Choose your weapon. Your weapon of choice is fairly important. That means finding your main heroes. Preferably you'd like to have a handful of these, and here's how I would suggest you can best find them. Play every character in the game for a few hours and find out which heroes you play the best on naturally. Heroes you have some sort of affinity for. Next, spend as much time as possible with your few heroes of choice in an attempt to master them mechanically. That means practice hours in quick play to get a hold of the basics. Then get into competitive play and try to get as many hours on them as possible. You won't learn how to play a hero in competitive unless you play them in competitive. Get accustomed to the way players position, the way they approach engagements, and adjust your gameplay accordingly. One secret weapon when it comes to honing your skill is reviewing your own gameplay, essentially being your own coach. Now you might wonder how you can coach yourself when you lack the skill to find out what you're doing wrong in the first place. The secret is that you don't need to be a pro player to do that. You only need to understand what makes better gameplay relative to what you are already doing. That means that if you understand that missing your shots as McCree is a bad thing, then you're already golden. The goal here is to not make a jump from silver to GM, hence you don't need to have GM knowledge to coach yourself. You're looking to improve your own silver gameplay, and the next step would obviously be reaching gold. Now I dedicated an entire video to how you can coach yourself and what to pay attention to exactly. But if I was to only give you a single tip with not wanting to watch that other video, I tell you, make fun of yourself. You know how sometimes when you watch a live stream, the streamer does something stupid and everybody goes all like, C9, lol, and everything? Do that to yourself with your own gameplay. What you want to achieve by making fun of your own mistakes is creating a sort of connection in your memory. Just seeing that you did something wrong and realizing the mistake is good, but if you can connect that to an emotion, that makes it easier for you to remember it subconsciously. You want to eventually reach a point where your brain stops you right before you misplay because it remembers, wait, I've seen this somewhere before and I embarrassed myself misplaying, so I am going to do it better now. And that's honestly all you need for this point. But that's where step number 3 comes into play. Maximize your MMR, and this is how you do it. Avoid filling and try to play your best heroes as much as you can. If you try to play a set of main heroes as often as possible, you make sure you always perform as well as you can. If you constantly just try to fill for your team, you will never master any heroes. Your contribution will be less effective and you put your faith in the hands of your team. Don't get me wrong, you won't be winning any games on your own even when you play your best heroes, but the trick is to find a balance between pulling your weight on your strongest picks and swapping to heroes you are not as good on when need be, because you'll realize that it's a good counter pick for your current situation and you don't need to be an expert on it for that particular matchup. By doing that, you put yourself in the best possible possible position to maximize your hidden matchmaking rating. And that's exactly what you want, because your SR, which is the number you can see in your profile, that one that represents your rating, that will always try to be as close to your MMR as possible. That means if you perform well, you will keep your MMR high and your SR will follow suit. You are going to get more SR per win and lose less if you end up having bad luck. The most important thing is performing well consistently. That means try to pull your weight, do your job, and swap when need be. Always make your goal to play to win, not for your stats. Gold medals don't help you if you lose every other match, so find a good balance. A really short break here. This is editing Cliff taking a look at the script that writing Cliff put together, and I realized how to some people it might seem contradictory to say in the beginning avoid filling and then later say swap when need be. That simply means don't insist on playing your hero when it's obviously not working. Always try to play your best heroes and allow others to play their best heroes as well. It's a kind of balance you have to strike, and I kind of didn't convey that message good enough, so here I am just telling you again out of script, and yeah, let's just continue with number 4. And now we're going to wrap it all up with step number 4. Pick your poison. Now in the past I used to give tips on how to optimize queues. Don't queue at prime time because that's where you have the biggest pool of players and the highest chances of running into some very unpleasant individuals. Don't overextend your sessions, take a break when you're on an angry losing streak, all that sort of stuff. But when it comes to picking your poison, the best thing you can do is placebo the heck out of yourself. And the reason I say that is because by now I have heard so many different opinions from so many people that I don't actually think there is a right answer. Some people said they have more luck during prime time, others say they lose all their matches, some claim that triple queue is the way to go, others swear by duos, and others again prefer to go solo. What's important for this last point is honestly just somehow fooling yourself into not realizing how much you're actually grinding. For some people, ranking up happens very rapidly until they hit a brick wall. For others, that takes a long time. If you have more fun playing with a friend, do that. If you think going solo helps you stay sane and only worry about your own ELO, then do that. The best thing I can give you as a piece of advice, and it will be cheesy, is honestly just try your best and have fun. And not just having fun for having fun's sake, try to keep yourself sane. Honestly, the more you can tackle this whole project with a lighthearted attitude, the more easily you can figure out what you do wrong and how to do it better. And this already wraps up our 4-step plan to rank up in Overwatch. Understand the system, choose your weapons, maximize your MMR, and pick your poison. Once again, you can find more detailed videos for many things I've talked about today by following the card in the top right corner. But if none of that interests you, then what about checking out my video on 10 Overwatch callouts and terms that you should be knowing before stepping into competitive play. I am fairly certain it is going to help you in your endeavor of conquering the ladder. But until then, thank you everybody so much for watching. Don't forget to drop me a like on your way out if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you want to see more, and I hope to see you all next time.